y'all for tuning in. One moment, let me get this right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Um, Make sure you check out fatherflex.com, premium apparel for fathers who want to be healthy for their family. Today, we're going to be talking about Jess Hilarious crashing out on the Breakfast Club. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Man, so for those of you who are unaware, Jess Hilarious is one of the co-hosts on the Breakfast Club, and she recently, last night, went on to the breakfast, I said went on Instagram Live, I believe it was, and crashed out. Started talking down about her co-host, started talking down about the Breakfast Club, all of this stuff. But I want to approach this from a different angle. I want to approach it from a different angle outside of just the gossipy, kind of sensationalist perspective. And I really want to talk about uh, how to address this issue in your own personal life, because this is not just isolated to Jess Hilarious. So I'll give the backstory. Essentially, and this is my understanding of it, Jess Hilarious was co-hosting the Breakfast Club after Angela Yee left. Jess Hilarious decided that she wanted to have a baby. She wanted to be a mother. In her own words, this is something that she wanted. And so she decided that she wanted to have this baby, and then she went on maternity leave, whatever, she was gone. There was another lady who came and filled in with her. I think her name is Lauren. She filled in for her, or she was on the show. I don't know if she was filling in for her, or she was going to be added anyways, but she was the woman on the show now. And when Jess Hilarious came back, I guess she was expecting that that woman would no longer be on the show. That's pretty much the story. And the woman never left. The woman is still on the show with them. There's 4 people instead of 3. So that's the story. Now, how I want to relate this to everyday people is in our jobs, in our relationships, in our lives, there may be times where we feel like we're being replaced. There are times where we may feel like someone's pulling the rug from underneath us, we're being replaced. And what I want you to think about is how to respond in those situations in a professional manner that maintains and keeps intact your dignity and respect and your professionalism. Because I can tell you this right now. The last thing you want to do is crash out when you already believe that you're being replaced. The last thing you want to do, especially if you're in an industry where you're such a public figure, is crash out, because that's a signal to other businesses they can't do business with you, because the moment things go sideways, you're going to feel the need to air everything out. And so I say all of this to say, in your own personal life, here's some things that you can do if you feel like Jess Hilarious. If you feel like you're about to crash out, you feel like you're at the point of no return, I want you to think about this. And we're going to analyze why she did what she did. But I want you to understand there are 2 components to why she did what she did. One, I don't believe Jess Hilarious truly values herself. I don't think she values herself in the marketplace. I'll be more specific. I don't think she values herself in the marketplace. And 2, I don't think that she properly, I'll say, engages in open communication. Those are the 2 main things I'll see, and I'll break them down. I'll break them down. 1, in order for you to really thrive, you have to value yourself. And the reason I say that is because if you don't value yourself and your worth, and you don't truly know what you're worth, you'll crash out. You're more likely to crash out. And here's why. People think that because they crash out and they go and talk shit about other people and to people, that means that they're valuing themselves. They're standing up for themselves. But guess what? Do you think that Warren Buffett, a billionaire, is going to start cussing and blah, blah, because you don't want to take a meeting with him? No, because he knows his value. Do you think Google is going to sit around and crash out because you didn't accept a job offer? No, because they know their value. People only crash out really like this when they don't know their value, or they know their value and they are insecure to admit that they're not operating at the highest level. Because let's understand something. Let's understand something. If Charlemagne went on some sabbatical and left for a couple weeks or whatever, a month, and they brought somebody else in, as soon as he's coming back, that other person's gone, but he's definitely not going to be taking the place of Charlemagne. Why? Because Charlemagne is indispensable to that brand. And that's another thing. If you're overvaluing yourself and thinking that, well, I'm just standing up for myself, this is my value, you're going to lose out on a lot of opportunities, and you're going to walk around believing that you're the victim. Believing you're the victim. Someone says Charlemagne is trash. You could say he's trash, but he's been on that show, I think going on like 10, 15 years. He's been on the show. He has other business ventures. He's huge in the media space. So I don't know what you're measuring that on to say he's trash, but from a business perspective, he's obviously not trash. And I don't think that Jess Hilarious is trash. What I'm saying is we live in a competitive society, and people get replaced. People get replaced, and if you don't know your value, you may undervalue yourself or you may overvalue yourself in the marketplace. And I think in this situation, Jess Hilarious may have overvalued herself in the marketplace because, make no mistake, and I tell people this all the time, just because you can get away with something at your job doesn't mean you should do it. Now, I'm not saying that if you're a woman and you have a child and you want to take some time off for your child, that you shouldn't do it. But what I am saying is that that does leave the door open for other people to come in and take advantage of a vacuum. That's it. And you have to be reasonable about that. You have to be reasonable about that. Yeah, they said, wouldn't be Breakfast Club without Charlemagne. That's true. You have to be reasonable about your value. You don't want to overvalue yourself. You don't want to undervalue yourself. And another thing, do not attach your value in the marketplace to your confidence. It's cool to be confident, but you also have to be realistic. And if you are watching the show and you're sitting back and you're saying, well, there's somebody else on who they're trying to replace me. If someone's trying to replace me, good luck. Good luck. If you find someone you can replace me with, good luck. I wish you the best. That's a new opportunity for me to go do something else. You're not owed that job. You're not owed that job. You're not owed an opportunity. You're not owed anything. Like, I get it. You signed a contract. If they haven't called you and told you that you fired and they're not doing anything like that and it's nothing shady and you just jealous, you have to get past that. So know your value. Know your value. If you do not know your value, then you do not know anything when it comes to the job marketplace, and you open yourself up to crash out and make yourself look unprofessional. 2, open communication. Now, this is a big one. This is a big one because pretty much what we're watching with the Breakfast Club is a meeting that should have happened behind closed doors happening in the public. This is a meeting that should have happened behind closed doors that happened in the public. And now they're trying to spin it. They're trying to monetize it. I get it. Make your money. But this is a meeting that should have happened behind closed doors and didn't. And so understand this. When I say open communication, what I'm saying is that this didn't just happen. This was boiling up in Jess Hilarious. This was boiling up. She went on and on and on. I watched her interview, or I watched the show this morning where she was talking about her problems. It seems like she went on and on and on, just holding stuff in, not properly communicating. And then one day, just had the bright idea. You know what? I have a phone. I have a camera. You know what I'm going to go do? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to turn my camera on and talk shit about my employer. That's what Jess Hilarious decided she was going to do. And this is why I preach not only for men but women. You have to develop emotional regulation. You have to develop emotional regulation, because you will fumble your bag. You can lose your family. You can lose your life. You can lose so many opportunities if you stuck in that ratchet hood. I'm going to say what I want to say whenever I want to say it, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out, and I'm going to make sure they don't try me, and I'm going to make sure they know this and they know that. That's old. That's childish shit. That's old and that's childish. Protect your brand. Openly communicate. Because here's another thing. People that struggle with open communication, it's more about the show for them. They're the ones that want to have a big show. They're the ones that want to leave somewhere and everyone knows that today's their last day. They the one that want to air everything out. They the ones that want to make sure that, everyone knows their side of the story. If an opportunity is not serving you anymore, get the fuck out. Go, leave. But you don't value yourself because you won't leave. You don't value yourself and you won't leave. And on top of that, you won't leave, but you also want to talk down on people that gave you an opportunity, because let's be real here, people. Let's be real. Let's be real. I don't watch The Breakfast Club much anymore, but from when I do see it, they're moving more into a political lane. They're having deeper conversations. I feel like they're bringing on a variety of guests. And I feel like you have to be on a certain level in order to operate in that. It can't just be gossip anymore. You have to be operating on a certain level. And if you're not operating on that certain level and you're not bringing a certain amount of value, then you get replaced. That's with anything. I just posted a video earlier today, right? I just posted a video earlier today about how I gained confidence after I got fired. I got fired from a job and I gained confidence after it, because that firing made me reevaluate I had to come back to the table and reevaluate my skill set, had to pull out my degrees, had to look at my skills and all the other things that I have to now present to the marketplace and say, hire me, pay me, or whatever it is I decide to do. I didn't sit back and make no videos down talking the other job. It was an opportunity. I wasn't talking when I was getting paid. I wasn't making no bad videos when I was getting paid. But because people lack the proper way of communicating with people, they let stuff bubble up and bubble up and bubble up. And then they act like a punk. They act like, that opportunity never served them. And then when it's no longer 100% what they want, now all of a sudden they trash. Now all of a sudden they owe you something. Now all of a sudden you're a victim. Nah, we not playing that in 2025 moving forward, especially within the Black community. We can't afford to have that crusty ass mindset. That's a crusty mindset. That is a crusty crab mindset. This opportunity is no longer 100% what you want, so we get online and we down talk it, we trash it. No, that's not how you operate. If you want to be a successful person, that's not how you move. All you're going to do is mess up future opportunities for yourself, for your family, and then this is going to be what people talk about you for. Like, this is what you're the lady that crashes out that nobody could work with because you always have to have an opinion and share that opinion. You know what? And I'm going to say this. You know what also is wild about this? You're a radio personality. You're able to go online every single day and express your opinion about everything else in the damn world. And you choose to express your opinion about the people writing you a check. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. And I don't know, it may be because I got kids and, I'm a parent now and I be in parent mode and I be thinking about how everything can be a lesson, which I've always kind of thought like that. But, I think that at a certain level, you have to understand that you are responsible for your success. Nobody owes you an opportunity. Nobody owes you anything. And when you do get an opportunity, you milk it for all you can in a positive way. And if that opportunity ends, you move on in the most graceful way. But people want to be a victim so bad. They want to tell their side of the story so bad that they let it get in the way of their bag. They let it get in the way of their reputation. They let it get in the way of their dignity. And then at the end of the day, what do you get from that? What do you get from bad mouthing your employer who writing you a check and then showing up to work the next day? That's my thing. And we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give my opinion on whether I think that Jess Hilarious should be fired. Yes, okay, I think she should be fired. I think she should be fired, and here's why. In any other position, in any other, just regular people with a job, how do you think it would go if you walked in to your job tomorrow and showed them a video of you talking shit about them online? You saying their name, you calling out people in the job. Stacy over in marketing is you saying, what do you think they would do? Clap? No, you're gone. You're done. But you have people watching The Breakfast Club that will look at that and clap and go, good for you, Jess. Good for you for sharing your truth. Good for you for expressing yourself. You showed them how stupid you are. You showed them how dumb you are, how much you lack emotional intelligence and professionalism. You showed them what not to do. You showed them exactly what not to do. And I want to touch on this. I want whoever's watching this to take a lesson from this, all right? Because this is not just about Jess Hilarious. This is something that we can learn from, all right? If you are in a position to where you feel like the opportunity that you have is no longer worth your time, it's no longer worth your energy, blah, 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 you ready to move forward, what I want you to do is I want you to sit back and relax. I want you to meditate. Whenever you get that bubbly feeling, like right here in your gut, whenever you get that feeling to crash out, don't do it. Sit back. If you got a hat on, maybe turn it backwards, get in a little mood or whatever. I see some people sit with their leg up on their knee and stuff. I want you to, however you got to get comfortable, whatever you got to do, sit back and just, let's do this together. Let's, deep breaths. Deep breaths. Take some deep breaths. Put your phone down. You ain't got to pop out and show nobody like Kendrick said. Put your phone down, take some deep breaths, and be strategic. Take some deep breaths, put your phone down, go take a shower, come back to it later, pick your phone up, and if you still feel like that, just throw your phone away. Because you're probably going to lose more money, and it'd probably be a better ROI to throw your phone away and crush it and whatever and go buy a new one than to mess up the bag and mess up the money. It'd probably be better to just get rid of your phone at that point. For real. If you feel the need to crash out, you just don't need a phone. You don't need a phone if you're the type of person that just feel like they need to crash out all the time and send people stuff you ain't got no business sending them. For real. Like, you ain't got to do it. You do not have to crash out. And this is something that's especially important for the Black community here, because we are taught that crashing out is what makes us real. We're taught that crashing out is what makes us real. We're taught that crashing out is what makes us Black. We're taught that crashing out is the way to go. If you exercise any restraint, any emotional control, you're a punk, you're weak, you a sellout, you done changed. That's what we're taught. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to crash out. Put your phone down, go chill. If it's all like that, go on Indeed.com, start looking up other positions, get your resume right. Because there's another thing, and I think entrepreneurship taught me this as well. For those of you who don't know, I'm an entrepreneur as well. I've been in the real estate industry. I've been in the insurance industry, worked full-time, no W-2 job, straight commission. And when you work commission, you really see who you are. You really see if you all about this and all about that. You really see that. You know why? Because if you don't shut the hell up and take care of the client, you don't get paid. All this talking about your boss and talking about this and talking about that, that's cool when you have a W-2 job. That's cool. But when you're an entrepreneur and you don't get paid unless you produce results, you have to think about the clients, or I should go out of business. You have to think about the clients. And so when you work with people and you're trying to provide a good service, you have to learn how to communicate with people. You have to understand other people's perspective. Why? Because it's not just about you. And I think so many people get entitled with these jobs. They get entitled with these paychecks. They think that those paychecks are theirs forever, that they no longer look at the value that they add. There's been times, for example, I've had real estate clients that were disrespectful to me. I remember one client didn't know what they were talking about, and they didn't want to listen to my advice. And what ended up happening is they weren't getting the properties they wanted. They were losing out on deals, and they were losing money. They didn't want to listen. So then they come to me one day and they say, they just have these great ideas. Sometimes they say, you know what I think it is? I think that because you're black and the listing agent is Hispanic, I think that they would give me a deal if a Hispanic real estate agent were the one presenting the offer. That was the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. But guess what I did? I didn't crash out. And this was another black person. I didn't crash out. I called them. I said, hey, I read your text message. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish you the best. Let me know how it goes. Guess what happened? That person called me a couple days later. It didn't go how they thought it would go. And we ended up doing a deal together, and I made about $12,000 off of that deal. Why? Because I didn't crash out. I didn't ruin the opportunity because I was in my feelings. So don't mess up your opportunities because you're in your feelings. Don't think that just because it's not going your way right now that you have the right to get online or to start bad-mouthing people. And this is a deeper conversation outside of just online, right? I get it. We're human. Things happen at the job that we don't like. It's cool. You need to vent a little bit. But here's what I tell people, right? If you're at a job and you know that you shouldn't be there, it's no longer serving you. If you spend most of your disposable time talking shit about that job, you need to leave. You need to leave yesterday. You need to leave. Because now it's not even just about the job. You're just a shitty human being who's not adding value. You're not adding value to yourself. You're not adding value to the job. If all you do is talk about your job in a negative way and there's never nothing positive, it's always about your coworkers, it's always about your boss, it's always about this, always about that, and that's your main conversation no matter what. Like we trying to hoop and you talking about the boss. Go do it yourself then. Go do it yourself. If you started looking at whatever you have in your life as an opportunity instead of something that you're owed, then it becomes a lot clearer what your value is. Because if you are so great and they're so lame and this job ain't this and this job ain't that, then why can't you do better than them on your own? Why can't you do better than them on your own? So Jess Hilarious, you're probably not going to see this. Someone said, hi, what up, Carol? Appreciate y'all. If you are in the stream right now, make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching this on replay, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, check out fatherflex.com, premium apparel for fathers who want to be healthy for their family. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all for the support. We just hit a milestone 1,300 subscribers, and we are going up. So make sure you support the channel. Appreciate y'all. But I want to end on this. Right? Because I know I've said a lot. And one thing that I think can separate you no matter what is your ability to bounce back from adversity. I remember when I got fired from a job, there was almost a sense of excitement. Because it's like, I know I'm going to be good. I know I can go out here and compete. Let me challenge myself. So I went and I started, like, in my career, I do digital marketing. That's what I do. Digital marketing. I run like Google Ads. I do like podcasts, social media. That's what I do in my career. Now, I had those skills, but I didn't have certificates and things like that to market myself because I didn't need them. When I got fired, I was like, oh, now I have time to go sit down and do the courses and get the credentials, because I didn't have time before because I had this other job. Now I have time to polish up my resume, maybe learn some new skills, get up to date on the newest trends, etc., etc. I saw it as an opportunity. And there's, like, when I was in the real estate industry, I followed this dude named Ricky Caruth, and he talked about how real estate agents, when they lost a deal or something didn't work out, a deal fell through, that one way to look at it is, yes, you lost that deal, but look at all the time you get back because you're not worried about that deal or focused on that deal. You have your time back. And if you value yourself and you value your time, when things don't work the way you want, you got fired, a client don't want to work with you no more, a deal fell through, you get your time back. And what you do when you get your time back says more about you than some job could say about you. It says more about you than anyone could say about you. When you have your time uninterrupted, what are you doing with it? Are you making yourself more valuable? Are you making yourself an asset? Or are you making yourself a victim? Are you making yourself an asset, or are you making yourself a victim? That's what you have to ask yourself. Because when I see Jess Hilarious get online and crash out and talk about her employer and talk about people that done been there for her and talk about people that supported her when they didn't have to and talk about a co-host that's just doing their job and showing up and showing out and getting the momentum that I guess they're deserved because the marketplace is responding. When I see that, I see a person that doesn't know their worth, doesn't know their value, and they're insecure. They feel threatened. And the only reason you will feel threatened if you know deep down you're not on your game. That's the only way you will feel threatened, is if you're not on your game, or if you are on your game and somebody just better. That's okay. If somebody comes along and they're better than you at something, I'm going to get deep right. If somebody comes along and they are better than you at something, your only complaint is that they did not come into your life sooner. That should be your only complaint. If you are around somebody and you have the opportunity to still get paid and they are better than you, your only complaint should be that they did not come into your life sooner. See, people have it messed up. People have it messed up because they'll look at somebody that comes into a job or comes into a position and they do it better than them. They'll look at that as a threat. They'll look at it as a threat instead of looking at it as an opportunity. Like, wow, I can learn a lot from this person. Even if I get fired and they replace me, I can learn a lot from them just by being around them, by picking their brain. All of that stuff, especially if you have seniority and you've been there, maybe you're on your way out, pick their brain so you can use it at your next opportunity. Maybe this one just don't fit you no more. Maybe they're going in another direction. If you had emotional intelligence, you would think like that. But when you don't have emotional intelligence and you don't have good emotional regulation skills and you don't have the tools necessary to walk through life and express yourself and communicate, You crash out online and you talk about people that have been there for you because you were in your feelings. And then what? And then what happens? After you're done crashing out, speaking your truth, being your authentic self, you want everyone to come back around you and validate you and validate your feelings and make you feel like you heard and make you feel like your points are valid and stuff like that. Nah, we not on that. We are not on that. Go do your job, compete in the marketplace. If somebody replaces you, be grateful that you were in their presence while they were there replacing you. Learn as much as you can. Come back stronger, because you look weak when you do that. When you go online and you crash out and talk about what somebody not doing for you, when you go online and make yourself a victim, you are ruining your personal brand. You're ruining it. So that's all I got to say on that topic. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you got any value from this at all. Also, check out fatherflex.com, premium apparel for fathers who want to be healthy for their family. Information is in the description. Someone said I was gonna say straight victim mentality. Yes. All right, we got another comment. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. I forgot. Let me know in the comments what y'all think, because you know that's one thing that I think is hard to get over, is the victim mentality. That's one thing that's hard to get over, because that's something that exists within you when nobody else is around. That's something that exists within you that you have to do a lot of work to get out of. You have to do a lot of work to get out of. And so if you find yourself with a victim mentality, if you find yourself always blaming other people, the best thing that you can do is sit with yourself, practice self-awareness. And whenever you get those thoughts, I want you to repeat the phrase, I'm a good person going through a tough time who needs to take accountability. I'm a good person going through a tough time who needs to take accountability. Give yourself grace, but also hold yourself accountable at the same time. So if you find yourself in a victim mentality mindset mode, you just in that period of your life, I'm a good person who's going through a tough time who needs to hold themselves accountable. That's what I want you to say to yourself. I'm a good person who's going through a tough time who needs to hold themselves accountable. Repeat that as many times as you need to say it until those thoughts get out of your mind. It's not your mama, it's not your daddy, it's not your coworkers, it's not your boss, it's not the butterfly you saw on the way to work, it's not the bus driver who was 5 minutes late. It's not the electricity company that want their money because you did run up your electricity bill running the heater because it was cold outside. It's not them. It's not your car company because they want their money for a car payment you agreed to. It's not your insurance company that raised the bill a little bit. It's not your landlord who want their rent money on time. It's you. Yep. Youngins, we got someone in the comments said, youngins aren't trying to hear that though. I feel like they expect to be rewarded for being a victim. Exactly. And and that's a great point. We have to talk about why it is young people feel like they should be rewarded for being a victim. And in my opinion, young people feel like they should be rewarded for being a victim because that's what's celebrated. That's what's celebrated. You have no idea, as a parent, you have no idea the level of scrutiny you get when you say you're not going to raise your kids to have a victim mindset. When you say that you're going to make sure your kids have standards when it comes to what they put in their body and what they eat, what they think, what they wear. You would be surprised at how much pushback you get for not being a victim. I remember when I was in college and I was taking a public administration course, and we were talking about welfare and food stamps and stuff like that. And this was a mixed room. There were conservatives in there, liberals in there, and stuff like that. And I remember vividly, talking about like a personal experience with myself about not being a victim. There was a white woman in that classroom that argued me down that I was a victim because I'm black. She argued me down. Well, you're black and you've been through this and life has been hard. You don't even know me, ma'am. You don't know me. But she swore up and down I was a victim. She knew nothing about me. She didn't know my story. She didn't know my background. She knew nothing. And trust me, if I told you my background and I told you the type of upbringing I had, it'd be a good sob story. I'm just being real. It'd be a good sob story. You'd be like, damn, I'm surprised you got as far as you've gotten. It'd be a good sob story. But sob stories don't pay the bills. Sob stories don't make sure my kids are taken care of and my wife is good. Sob stories don't do anything except you have a story to tell. But guess what? I've turned my sob story into motivation. I've turned my sob story into something that I can build on and give me fire and motivation to say that it's never going to be like that for my kids. It's never going to be like that for me again. So however you decide to view it is what's going to manifest in your life. Oh, I didn't have new clothes growing up. I don't have new clothes now. I still got some of the same clothes from high school. And I graduated over 10 years ago. I still got some of the same clothes from high school. I don't need all those new clothes. And most of the things that we think are a struggle and that were so tough on us when we were growing up, those are the things that set us apart. I can't tell you how many jobs I've worked at. I can't tell you how many people I've met. I can't tell you how many situations I've been in to where it's like, get away from me. You're weak. You're weak. You're weak. Well, they're going to fire me. Then go get a new job. If you're that worried about a job firing you, then you should be the most motivated to be an entrepreneur. You should be the most motivated to make sure you have a skill set that's going to pay the bills and that's transferable in any state you go to. You should be the most motivated. But the people that are the most worried and stuff like that, they're the ones that don't want to put the work in to make sure they have a safety net, to make sure that they straight. Their equity is built up in their sob story. Their equity is built up in their sob story. And so for me, you got one sob story with me. You got one sob story with me where I'm going to really listen. And once I understand your sob story, and once I understand what's going on, and once we really talk solutions, that's it. I don't want to hear about your shit no more. I don't want to hear it. And so when it comes to young people, they're not used to hearing that message. They're used to hearing, oh, you're black? Tell me more. Huh? They bullied you? Tell me more. What? Your parents spanked you? Tell me more. And then eating it up and eating up. And then what spit out to them is, you had a tough life. It's understandable why you're not where you want to be in life. And that's it. That's the advice young people get. That's the advice older people get. That's the messaging today. That's the messaging. The better your sob story, the more street cred. It's like, it almost reminds me of like when I was growing up, they're Crips and Bloods and gang members and stuff like that. Whoever had the best story about how they fought 10 people in one and they got this weapon and that way and they doing this and get this many girls. It's like that's what victim mentality is today. Whoever is the better victim is the winner. To the point now to where you have a culture of victimhood who sits around and literally dogs people who say your success is your responsibility. You'll get dogged for saying that. Oh, you're overweight? You know, how often do you exercise? What are you eating? Oh, that's mean. That's mean. What's acceptable is, oh, you're overweight? You're good. You're good. Just don't let society make you feel bad for being. That's the messaging. So now what's happening is the real winners, the real people that push people to be motivated, and the real people that you can be around and learn something from, they're being very selective with who they choose to hang around with and where they put their energy, because they understand at any moment that those words of encouragement could be used as a weapon against them to say, oh, you're fat shaming, you're racist, you're this, you're that. It's just not worth it anymore for people, a large majority of people, to be real with people. It's not worth it. And so when you find someone that's authentic and you find somebody that's real, somebody that's going to be straight up with you, make sure you keep them around. Don't have no lazy people in your crew. Don't have nobody that's sitting there validating you when you know you're not on your stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll be the worst decision you make. That's how you end up on the internet, crashing out, talking about people. Guaranteed Jess Hilarious called a bunch of her girlfriends, a bunch of her friends, and they was pumping her up, bigging her up. Girl, you need to say something. No, you need to say something. This is bullshit. You need to say something. Oh, they got you messed up. Nah, you need to speak out. She didn't call not one real person that said, just put the phone down. That's stupid. You and your feelings. You rich. Go fly to Vegas real quick. Go do something. Don't mess up your bag. Put your phone down. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. My name is Fitz. I'll see y'all next time.